Good morning. So the last class I was dealing with the certification of the drunkenness. Since last class there was a problem in sharing the slides. So I had received a few messages to share the PPT. So today I am sharing the slides. Okay. So I just go through this briefly. So whoever wants to note down can note down. Since this has been already repeated, I'll just go through the slides. So the drunkenness, then what is the scheme of examination and the certification and lab analysis. So now the few points regarding the alcohol. As I already told you people, it is a CNS depressant and it is an inebriate substance which produces intoxication. Common use when we say alcohol, it refers to the ethyl alcohol. And coming to the physical property of alcohol, it is transparent, volatile liquid having a characteristic spirituous odor and burning taste. So the 90% is oxidized in liver and 10% is excreted through all routes of excretion. Mainly it is excreted by means of urine and breath. So the rate of disappearance from the blood is about 10 to 15 ml per hour. So it is equivalent to 15 milligram %. Lower concentration causes depression of more specialized and sensitive cells of cerebral cortex. Mainly the conduct, judgment and self-criticism. Increasing concentration depresses the brain functions. Depression of vital center. Coming to the absorption, it is absorbed 20% from the stomach, 80% from the small intestine, and it is detected in the blood within 2 to 3 minutes of consumption. The maximum concentration is reached within 45 to 90 minutes of consumption. Coming to the symptoms, so the first stage is of stage of excitement, and second one is the stage of incoordination, and third is the stage of coma. Now, what are the circumstances we come across concerned with alcohol thing? So one is taking alcohol and creating the public annoyance, and drunken driving involved in criminal offences. So according to the British Medical Association, the condition a person who has taken alcohol in a quantity sufficient to lose control of his faculties so that unable to execute safely the occupation where engaged at a particular time and the material. So after this part of theory, next we'll coming to the examination proper, the scheme of examination for certification of drunkenness. So the main objective of examination is subject has consumed alcohol or not. If yes, whether he is under the influence or not. So this one has to be rectified. Second, safe for him to be detained in a police station or he should be admitted to the hospital. The consent part, it should be obtained written informed consent and explain the procedure and purpose of examination time of taking the consent. And if he is conscious and not in a fit condition to give the consent, then guardian's consent can be taken. Coming to the preliminary
the slides
particulars.
are not moving, ma'am. Ma'am, the slides are not moving, ma'am.
1 second. Slides not moving. Beginning it was moving.
No, ma'am. It's still stuck in the starting slide, ma'am.
Which one exactly?
Examination and certification of a case of drunkenness. The very first slide, ma'am. It's stuck right
First
there.
slide only. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'll just see that. Okay. I'll rectify.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂದರೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ
ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ
ಹಾಂ
ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
only you are having this problem or many of you are having this problem?
Even for me, it's not moving, ma'am. For everyone, I guess.
Yes, ma'am.
ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ. ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು?
ಅವ್ರದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದ್ರು ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇದ್ರೂ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ವೈಫೈ ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದು.
ಬಿಗ್ನಿಂಗಿಂದ ತೋರಿಸಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಬಿಗ್ನಿಂಗಿಂದ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಇದೆ ಬಿಗ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರಿಗೇನು.
ಇದೇನಾ ಅಷ್ಟು?
Now can you see the slide, different slide? Hello?
No, ma'am.
No?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Which slide you can see now?
The very first slide, ma'am.
Okay. Now I will change the slide. Can you see?
No, ma'am.
Can you see? No?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Fine. ನೆನ್ನೆ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂತಲ್ವಾ?
ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಯ್ತದೆ.
ಹಲೋ ಹಲೋ ಇದು ಪ್ರಾರಂಭಿಸಿದ್ದು ಪಿ ಪಿ ಟಿ ಇದಂತಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಾರೆ ಮೂವತ್ತಲ್ಲ
ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನಾನು
ಹೇಳಿ ಮೇಡಮ್.
Can you appreciate it now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Second slide.
Okay.
Yes,
fine.
ma'am.
Okay, fine then. So again, I will have to repeat. I just go through that, okay? So after this certification, ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಇದು ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದು. Okay, fine. So drunkenness, then we'll have to see the scheme of examination, certification and lab analysis. So alcohol, so it is a CNS depressant, inebriate substance which produces intoxication, and commonly what we use is the ethyl alcohol. So it is transparent, volatile liquid having a characteristic spirituous odor and burning taste. This is the physical property. And 90% is oxidized in liver and 10% is excreted through all routes of excretion. So mainly by means of urine and breath. So the rate of disappearance from the blood is about 10 to 15 ml per hour, and it is equivalent to 15 mg%. So the lower concentration causes depression of more specialized and sensitive cells of cerebral cortex, mainly the conduct, judgment and self-criticism. Whereas the increasing concentration depresses the brain functions and also depresses the vital center. Coming to the absorption, 20% is absorbed from the stomach and 80% is absorbed from the small intestine. And it is detected in the blood within 2 to 3 minutes of consumption. Maximum concentration is reached within 45 to 90 minutes of consumption. Coming to the symptoms, you can categorize into 3 stages. One is the stage of excitement, second is the stage of incoordination, and third one is the stage of coma. Now coming to the circumstances where we come across concerned with the alcohol is one is taking alcohol and creating the public annoyance, and drunken driving involved in a criminal offences. So according to the British Medical Association, it is a condition produced in a person who has taken alcohol in a quantity sufficient enough to lose control of his faculties, unable to execute safely the occupation and engage at the particular or the material time. Coming to the scheme of examination for certification of drunkenness. So the main objective of examination is whether So the next objective is safe for him to be detained in the police station, or he should be admitted to a hospital. So the first and foremost thing is, for any examination you will have to take the consent. So the consent has to be in the form of obtained, returned, informed consent, and it should explain the procedure and purpose of the examination. If he is unconscious or not in a fit condition to give consent, then you will have to take a consent from the guardian. Coming to the preliminary particulars, so the requisition for examination is received from, so who is the head, like below, it should not be below the sub inspector, you can take, of which police station, what is the date, what is the crime number, under what section, on what time, and at what time, on what date and at what time. So the first and foremost thing, you should know about the name. Second is age. Third is sex. And fourth is the occupation. Fifth is the residential address. Then you will have to write down the date, time and place of examination. And he is brought by whom? So the name, buckle number and police station. Then is identification mark. So as I already told, minimum two identification mark has to be taken from the exposed area of the body. Next, you will have to ask about the history. So narration of the history is very, very important. So in this, you will have to stress on whether he has consumed alcohol. If so, at what time and what was the nature and what is the quantity he has consumed. This you will have to derive. Did he take any food or liquid along with the alcohol? If so, then what is the nature? Because as you all know, empty stomach, it hastens or it fastens the absorption. Is he in the habit of consuming alcohol regularly? If so, since how long and how frequently he takes alcohol? All of you are with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then history of conditions which simulate the alcohol intoxication. This part is very, very important. So there are so many conditions which would simulate the alcohol intoxication in the absence of alcohol consumption. So the first and foremost is the head injury. So head injury, a person would simulate the symptoms as that of the alcoholic intoxication. So this is mainly thing, all other reasons have to be ruled out. So the next one is the hypoglycemia, diabetic coma and hyperthyroidism. Intracranial tumors, Parkinson's disease and epilepsy. Insulin, barbiturates, morphine, antihistamines, atropine, tranquilizers. Exposure to the carbon monoxide and extreme cold, and if there is a history of high fever. Then is so those are the history part which you will have to rule out. Okay. So next part is the general appearance and the behavior. So in this you will have to note down regarding the clothing or the whether he has dressed orderly or disorderly. So then general disposition, whether how is his nature? Is he more aggressive or violent or calm or talkative, like that? Next, coming to the physical examination proper. So the first and foremost thing, you note down the pulse. The rate and volume which will be rapid and full volume will be there. Next is the blood pressure. There will be slight increase in blood pressure will be noted. And the temperature slightly will be raised. Respiratory rate, that is also again increased. Skin, it will be warm, dry and flushed. Mouth and tongue, you will have to see for the smell of alcohol in the breath, and the tongue will be dry. Eyes, general appearance, it will be a swollen lids will be there, and congestion of conjunctiva will be noted. Visual acuity, the distant and near visual acuity will be reduced. In the eyes, again in the intrinsic muscles, pupils will be either dilated or the contracted. So initially it will be dilated, later it will be contracted. Then is reaction to the light. So it will be normal, slow or absent depending upon the intoxication. First it will be slow. Next, in the extrinsic muscles, the convergence on a near object and nystagmus, that is a fine lateral nystagmus, you can also call it as alcohol gaze nystagmus, will be noted. In the ears, there will be impairment of the hearing is noted. Then assessment of the higher functions. So in this memory, you will have to check for the immediate and the recent or the remote memory loss. So the next is whether the person is oriented to time or place. That we'll have to note down. Then certain tests are done for the muscular coordination. So the first one is the finger nose test. So this you will be knowing, all of you, in the clinical side. That's the finger nose test. Then heel to shin test. So touching the heel with the touching the shin with the heel of the another foot. Then picking up of medium sized object. Then unbuttoning or rebuttoning the shirt. Handwriting. Integrity of the muscular and nervous system for the coordination of the fine and gross movements. The speech will have to see whether it is normal or slurred or over precise. Then gait will have to check whether staggering gait is there or what. And balance will have to check. Then coming to the reflexes. So the reflexes, knee reflex and ankle reflex will have to check. Both the reflexes will be reduced. So the main note is the doctor should not ask the examinee to perform any act which he could not perform easily himself. Means whatever the task is given to rule out this muscle coordination or for the examination proper, it should be easily done. Unusual actions. Certain problems they will have like hiccups, belching or omitting. If that is there, in that also you will have to make a note of it. Then coming to the systemic examination proper, in that we will have to check all these systems, respiratory, CNS, CVS and GIT. Then after the examination, the next part is the lab thing. What you will have to do is the samples you will have to collect and those samples you will have to send it for the investigations. That is mainly blood and the urine samples you will have to send it. So in the blood sample when you will be sending, you will have to collect the 10 ml of venous blood. So the bulb containing sodium fluoride about 10 milligram per ml and potassium oxalate about 3 milligram per ml. So that has to be collected. Okay. Next is the urine sample. So in the urine sample, you will have to take the 2 samples of 10 ml of urine in a bulb containing 10 milligram of sodium fluoride or thymol or phenyl mercuric nitrate. So here urine alcohol concentration into 0.75 will give you the blood alcohol concentration. So if you know blood alcohol concentration, then you can calculate the urine alcohol concentration and vice versa. So after taking these samples, you will have to seal it, label with the name, date and time of collection. Importance of lab investigations. So why you are sending these samples? That is mainly for the confirmation of the clinical diagnosis. Second is enable the court to accept the clinical diagnosis. And third, the test the reliability of the statements of the accused. Can resolve the conflicting reports given by the non-medical witnesses. So after all these lab investigation, the last part is the opinion part. So on perusal of clinical and lab examination findings, the opinion given like this: I am of the opinion that Mr. Dash, whoever is the accused, bearing the identification marks, this 1 and 2, has not consumed alcohol. This opinion you can give based on these findings. So what are those findings? When there is no smell of alcohol in the breath. Second, all the clinical findings are normal. And third one is laboratory analysis is negative for the alcohol. So if these findings, if you have in your examination, then you can give this opinion. So the next opinion variety you can give is has consumed alcohol but is not under its influence. So this you can give based on the findings, like when there is persistent smell of alcohol in the breath and congestion of eyes and normal or dilated pupils with a normal reaction to light Then absence of signs of muscular incoordination and lab analysis is positive for the alcohol. So if these findings if you get, then you can give the above mentioned opinion. It has consumed alcohol and is under its influence. What are the findings to substantiate that opinion? When there is persistent smell of alcohol in the breath and congestion of eyes and dilated pupils with a sluggish reaction to light, then signs of muscular incoordination, then slurred speech, staggering gait, and lab analysis is positive for alcohol. Okay, so those are the opinions you can give. Any one opinion you will have to give, okay, depending upon the findings. So the last is the signature of the doctor with the name and designation and registration number and place and date. So this completes the examination proper, okay, and certification. Now, in order to ascertain whether a particular person is drunk or not, doctor should bear the following points in mind. So while examining, so these are the points you will have to keep it in your mind. So what is the quantity? There is no guide. How much he has taken, there is no guide for that. Then what are the factors affecting the metabolism of alcohol? That again we have to rule out, okay. Now, you have examined, you have sent the samples. So, for sending these samples, you will have to write a forwarding letter to the FSL, to the Deputy Director FSL. I am forwarding here with the following samples with necessary details the person examined by me for qualitative and the quantitative estimation of alcohol. So this letter should be there. This is a forwarding letter, okay, which says that I am forwarding here with the following samples with necessary details of the person examined by me for qualitative and quantitative estimation of alcohol. So these are the details we'll have to write: name, sex, age, MLC number, and what are the samples you are sending it. So the blood, how much should be collected? So it is collected in 10 ml venous blood in a bulb containing 10 milligram sodium fluoride or the 30 milligram potassium oxalate. And again urine. So when it is collected and at what time it is collected. Again, the two samples of 10 ml of urine, one collected as soon as the patient is brought for the examination, and another one is collected after 30 minutes of the initial evacuation. So it should be collected in a bulb containing 10 milligram of sodium fluoride or the thymol or phenyl mercuric nitrate. So whatever you are sending this, along with that one control, as a control you will have to send only with the preservative. Okay, so it should be again ended with the signature of the doctor. Clear, all of you? Okay, so this completes the drunkenness certification, and there are some sections I was dealing with in the last class. These sections would help for the certification. So the section 85 IPC, this is an act of a person incapable of judgment by reason of intoxication caused against his will or without his knowledge is not an offense. So when he has not consumed with his knowledge, then it is not offense. Okay. So the next section is section 86 IPC. So this is with his will or with his knowledge he has consumed alcohol, then it is considered as to be a offense. The next one is section 185 of Motor Vehicular Act. So in this, if blood alcohol concentration should be 30 mg% or more than that. So what is the imprisonment? 6 months or 2,000 rupees or both. And then the consecutively, if it is repeated, then it is 2 years imprisonment or 3,000 rupees penalty or can be both. So the next one is section 53 CRPC. So in this section 53 CRPC, there are two sections are there. So one is the section 53(1) CRPC and second one is section 53(2) CRPC. So in the section 53(1) CRPC, here what happens? When accused who is in police custody may be examined with the force without his consent. So, if is requested by the police official not under the rank of sub-inspector, then it becomes section 53(1) CRPC. So, it means to say that when accused he is in police custody and it should be examined without his consent, can be examined with the force without his consent when the requisition is from the police official not below the grade of sub-inspector. So this is 53(1) CRPC. So then what is 53(2) CRPC? In case the accused is female, then the examination has to be carried out by a female medical officer only. So this comes under section 53(2) CRPC. Okay. So 53(1) is accused where he is in police custody, no need of taking the consent. When a requisition is from the police official. In the 53(2) CRPC, if accused is female, then should be examined only by a female medical officer. So this comes under section 53(2) CRPC. So this completes about the drunkenness certification. Okay, this pro forma you have to note down. You have to fill it in your record book, first thing. Second thing, this pro forma should be by heart for you people because it will be there for your final exams. Okay, clear all of you? Hello? So this
Yes, ma'am.
I have completed the drunkenness certificate. And the next one is the last certificate. I just sorry. So the next certificate will move on is the wound certificate. Again, this wound certificate is very, very important for you people. Again, one is in the record you will have to fill it. Second one is you have to add this pro forma because again this is going to be there for your final exams. See, whatever these in the 4 classes I have told you about, these 4 certificates are very, very important for you people for your exams. Clear? Okay, now to start with wound certificate, as you all know about the wound, medical legal aspects of the wound, all mechanical injuries and all theory, very broadly it has been dealt with you people. So I'll just go through about only the practical aspects. So when wound certificate is there, this will be the pro forma more or less. So you'll have to fill this pro forma. So to start with, wound or injuries found on the person of a male or female calling himself or herself, what is the name and what is the age in years, and then inhabitant of where is the residency, who was sent with a letter number or the memo number. So whatever the number is there, or you can say the MLC number, and the date you will have to write down, from which police station, and accompanied by name, number of police station, and of the number of the police constable of concerned police station. Those details you will have to write. Then for report as to certain injuries. Okay. So said to have been caused on whom? At when? What is the date? And to be due to. So is it due to assault or it is due to injury? Whatever you will have to write. Then the identification mark you will have to write, and consent of the individual for the examination you will have to take, and signature of the thumb impression of the person, identification by a constable, number, name and police station. And the name of the person, the injured person was first seen by the undersigned, whoever is the doctor, at what time. on what date, and examination was commenced at. So what is the timing, like 1 to 2, 2 to 3, whatever the timings are there, that you will have to write, and on which particular date. So when the following injuries were found. So this should be the pro forma. So the next I'm just giving you few examples. So when you say the pro forma, beginning those things should be there. Second one is this column, and these are the titles or the heading under what you are explaining or you are describing the injury is very, very important. So after that thing, these columns has to be there. Okay, so in final exams what we do is we'll just give you the history, suggesting like he had an accident of road traffic accident and he sustains such injuries. Then you will have to issue the report. So for that thing you will have to note down these columns. So all the each and every injury has to be in this formulated columns only. Okay, so if you skip any one of the column, and your marks will be cut and your report will be incomplete. Okay, now I'll just share with you few examples. The first and foremost, as you all know, very familiar, is abrasion. Okay, so the first column should explain what is the nature of injury. So here the nature of injury is abrasion. Then the second column should be what is the size, because the size again it matters. So the same abrasion, if it is present over the cheek of the certain small thing, I mean small measurement like 4 into 3 centimeter, and if the same measurement of same abrasion, if it is present anywhere other part of the body, then the injury thing will differ. Okay. Then part of the body, where exactly which part of the body it is present. Now here back of left forearm, and if it is back of left forearm, is this a simple or grievous injury? Since this abrasion invariably it heals with the primary intention and it leaves no scar, then you can say it is simple injury. If it would have been a bigger measurement, like 10 into 15, 15 into 10 centimeter, if it is present over the cheek, then you might consider it as a grievous injury. Okay, now since it is less measurement and that too it is non-exposed area, you can say it is of simple injury since it heals with no scar. And weapon, what is a weapon? What type of weapon is responsible for causing abrasion? So you all know abrasion, it could be either by the blunt or could be due to the sharp. If he comes with contact with hard surface, then again abrasions would sustain. And if sharp weapons do cause abrasions. The weapon dangerous or not? It is non-dangerous, you can say. Okay, remark. In the remark, you will have to say whether it is of fresh. If it is of duration is given, like 8 hours before he sustained or he met with an accident or he sustained such injuries, then depending on the color of the abrasion, you will have to write down the remarks. So you will have to write down whether it is bright red or it is lightly dark red or it is brown to dark, as you know the age of the abrasions, and it is a brown or it is blackish, then the scab is formed. So depending on that thing, you can estimate the age of the injury. So depending on the color of the injury, you can estimate the age of the injury. So in the remark, you will have to tell, especially in the abrasions and the contusions, you will have to tell about you will have to mention about the age or the color. First mention about the color. Depending on that, you can come to the conclusion of the age of the injury. Clear? Okay, next coming to the second one is the contusion. So again, the nature of injury is contusion and the size is 4 centimeter into 3 centimeter. And again, this one point you will have to remember is abrasion and contusion will be of 2 dimensionals. So the part of body is back of left forearm. Then it is a simple injury and such contusions would be possible with to sustain by means of blunt weapon. Okay, and then weapon dangerous or not, it is again not dangerous. Again, depending upon the color of the contusion, you can put the remark that is of age of the contusion or age of the injuries, you can see. Okay, the next one is coming to the laceration. So in the laceration, as I already told, it becomes a three-dimensional, that is a length, breadth and the depth. So here it is measurement is 4 centimeter into 3 centimeter into muscle deep. So this is what is the depth. Okay, so at what level it is there? So it is muscle deep. So it is the part of body it is present is back of left forearm. Again it becomes simple. So here what happens, though this laceration it heals with secondary intention, so it might leave the, it do leaves the scar, but still it is considered as a simple injury because it is not going to cause any permanent damage. If the laceration would have been on the exposed part of the body, like on the cheek and on delicate areas like cheek or the face or the neck, and if it is present in case of females, then it would amount to the grievous injury. Okay, now this is a back of left forearm and a small measurement is there. Though it leaves a scar, it is still considered as a simple injury. And this could be possible by the blunt heavy weapons. So these weapons will be of dangerous weapons. Again, the remark. So the next one is the incised wound. Okay, so in the incised wound, again it is 4 centimeter into 3 centimeter into muscle deep. Okay, and present over the back of left forearm. This becomes a grievous injury. And because again it would cause a permanent damage of either the underlying tissue or if it is present over any other parts of the body, so it would leave the permanent damage which comes under those clause. If you go through that, you can make out. Okay, so this will be a grievous injury, and this could be possible by the weapon like sharp light weapons, and these weapons will be considered as dangerous weapons. So the next one is the chop wound. Chop wound, the measurement 4 centimeter into 3 centimeter into bone deep. Okay. So again the part of the body is noted is the back of left forearm. And again it becomes a grievous injury. So this injury is possible to sustain by means of sharp heavy cutting weapons. Okay. And this weapon will be of dangerous weapon. So these are the few examples, all the injuries I have mentioned. Accordingly, you will have to same columns you write down in the record book. Okay. So now after seeing whatever the injuries are there, after seeing that, if you feel, you can send it to the X-ray. As I already mentioned, this chop injury or the chop wound, it is of bone deep, then it is very important to send it to the X-ray to rule out any fractures is there, any part of the body, okay, where the injuries has been sustained. Then X-ray and the lab findings, I am of the opinion that these injuries are simple, grievous in nature or likely to be fatal. Depending upon the severity, you can write it down. Then is the police, where you are giving that station and the signature. So this completes the wound certificate. So if you have any problem, you can always ask me. And please note down, this format is very important for you people. Please don't add or don't delete. It is there in your record book also. And you will, that format is very important and you have to behat it. In your exams, these columns are very important. If you don't write down under, don't describe any injuries in these columns, then you will not be getting any marks. Okay. So you fill your records and you behat these formats. Okay. So these all these 4 certificates, whatever I have taken, is very important for you people for your final exams. So all the 4 format plus that sodomy also comes. In the first one, what I taught you people, the sexual offense accused examination. So in that, one is a rape examination of the accused and second one is a sodomy examination. So again, that also will be important. So the all these four pro forma, it should be by heart for you people. Okay. Any doubts? Any clarification? You can ask me.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, for drunkenness certificate, we should even attach the letter to the record, ma'am. We should write a letter and attach.
What letter? That forwarding letter.
Yes, ma'am.
No, that no need. See, whatever is there in your record, pro forma, that you will have to fill it. Understood? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes, ma'am. No
whatever
need to
that
write
pro
any
forma
letter.
is there, that you write it, you fill it, one thing. Second thing is that those pro forma should be by heart for you people. So this forwarding letter I told you because when you will be sending, actually in the practically, when what you will be dealing with clinical side, that you will have to send. For that sake I told you that. Okay? Clear?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Ma'am, I have a doubt, ma'am.
Yeah?
Ma'am, we do have no idea what to write in the record, ma'am. Like the MLC number and all is written, ma'am. What to fill there,
See,
ma'am.
those MLC number on your own you can write. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
See, when
Like,
I was dealing with you people, I was just telling something you can write or ABCD you can write, 1, 2, 3 you can write. I went on telling all those things. So these are the simple things you have to manage it. Understood?
okay, ma'am.
So the
Thank you,
MLC
ma'am.
number of your own, anything you can write.
Ma'am, how many digits will that MLC number be, ma'am?
Sorry?
How many digits will that MLC number be, ma'am?
Any
Like how many?
number, man. This is for only for your understanding purpose. Understood?
Yes,
For
ma'am.
your understanding purpose, so things will be there which are mandatory. See, when you will be practicing clinically, MLC number is compulsion. If you don't write your MLC number, the whatever that's why we keep as an MLC register. If you go to the casualty, you can make out. If you have done the casualty posting, then that MLC register will be there. So that is very, very important. Not only to fill the format, when you will be getting the summons, at that time you will have to take that MLC register. That's why MLC number is very, very important. Okay. To show that it is important, it is been mentioned in the record book. So those are the formalities you have to fill it. Any digit will do.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mm.
Thank you,
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, in drunkenness certificate for brief history, should we write the history given by the person or by the police, ma'am?
No, it should be given by the person, okay? And if he is under the custody, then it should be by the police.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
ಎಷ್ಟು ಡೌಟ್ ಇತ್ತು ಇವತ್ತು.
Ma'am, in own certificate, there is a question asked, investigations done. So we need to write about the X-ray.
Yeah, I told you, no, I gave you an example, that wound certificate, this one, what else? The chop wound. So where you have mentioned that the depth is bone deep.
Okay, ma'am.
Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
So when the depth is bone deep, that you will have to rule out whether there is a fracture or what. So if fracture is there, again it will substantiate your findings that it is going to be a grievous injury. When there is, though it is a hairline fracture, that would again amount to the grievous injury. So for that sake, so this investigation has to be done. It's a mandatory. If it is of bone deep, on when you on your clinical examination you are suspecting there is a depth is there. Okay. If it is abrasion and all, you need not send it for the X-ray examination. Clear? If there is
Okay,
a
ma'am.
laceration over the abdomen, again you will have to send it for the scanning to rule out what is the depth or any organ damage is there or what. Clear?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, no more doubts? Okay, I'll conclude the class here. So please go through these all these 4 certificates, very important for you people. So you have to buy it. There is no, I mean, it is mandatory for you people to buy this pro forma and you fill it. Okay. In the final exam, if you write the pro forma, 80% marks you will be getting. Okay, fine. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ.